Hello everybody, Joey Bag of Donuts here, and welcome to my channel. And some of you might be saying, but Joey, your channel's not called Joey Bag of Donuts. It's Javnutee? What is Javnutee? Well, if you're curious of what Javnutee is, it's simply my gamer tag backwards. There you go, mystery solved. What was that you say? Spelling out Javnutee backwards and reading it still makes no sense to you? Yeah, I get it. That's because it's kind of like a play on words. You have to pronounce it out. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to figure that out on your own. But that's not what this video is all about. This video, we are going to scope out Cayo Perico Island for the first time since the Tuner DLC launch. So, there's been a lot of talk online. A lot of videos being made by other YouTubers saying they nerfed the island when scoping it out. Just another way Rockstar tries to force everyone to buy shark cards. Rockstar doesn't want us to make easy money. They've added new cameras. They changed the guards' mechanics, etc. And that's what this video is all about. Now, since the Tuner DLC, I have done nothing but play all the new contract heists and haven't done any casino or Cayo heists at all. So needless to say, I haven't scoped out Cayo since the update dropped. This will be my first time, and I'm going to take the same route I always do, and we'll see if there's been any changes or if I have to find a new route. I made a video before showing how I scope out the island, and I'm gonna try to do the same thing. I'm also gonna scope out the entire island, so if I find my secondary targets and guard clothing right away, I'm still gonna push forward and scope all the secondary target locations as if I didn't find any. So if that sounds interesting to you, maybe hit the like button right now, possibly subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you can catch more videos like this in the future. And let's begin. You're going to want to make sure you scope out your secondary targets at the airport before you even bother leaving. Because if you're like me, you're going to want to find 2 cocaine stashes and guard clothing. Because if you do this solo, 2 cocaine stashes is going to fill up your loot bag, allowing you to get the elite challenge, and it's the most valuable secondary target other than gold. But if you're doing this solo, you cannot get the gold unless you're using a glitch, and I'm pretty sure they just patched the most common ones, so until there's a workaround, which I'm sure there probably is, you'll have to wait for that. So yeah, I just go over there, I check out that I got I have 2 cocaine stashes over there, so that's good. And then I run over here to see if there's any guard clothing, plus there's another secondary target location as well in this area. So right there, I'm going to zoom in on the picture, but there we go with the guard clothing. So boom, if I wasn't making this video, the next thing I would do is just go straight to the communications tower so I can scope out the primary target, and then I'd be done. But like I said, I'm gonna push through, act like I didn't find the secondary targets and the guard clothing, and continue on. Now this truck I'm taking a picture, it's in random spots, it's not always there, so I lucked out. If you didn't find any guard clothing in the other spot, possibly some right there. There isn't this time. And then I run inside of here to check out the secondary targets. Now, if I don't see cocaine, I don't take a picture. It just saves me time. That's all I'm looking for is cocaine, so that's the only time I really take a picture. Now, if you're not sure if it's cocaine or weed because you're new at this, you'll be able to tell if it's cash, but then go ahead and take a picture, and when you send it to Pavel, he confirms it with you. You just have to look on the bottom left corner of the screen. That's where it tells you. You could also look at the mini-map or the map, and it will also tell you with an icon. So if it's weed, it'll have a pot leaf. If it's cocaine, it'll be a bundle of coke. And if it's cash, it'll have a money symbol. And then I jump on the dirt bike that you see me jump on because it's really close to the secondary target. And if I do get caught by the guards, they drop you at the airport, and where they drop you is close to another dirt bike. Pay attention to where I go. I'm following the coastline as I leave the airport on the northern part of the map. This way I'm avoiding the dirt road, so any cameras or any new cameras that were added, not going to be an issue for me. Now, I do come onto the dirt road over here, but no new cameras, so I'm good. I jumped that little bump right there to stay to the left side of the camera I just passed. Still staying along the coastline until I see those trees straight ahead. There's a little jump right before this tree. I usually catch air, and quickly make a right heading for this building, because if you do this quick enough, that guard doesn't turn around. I just parked my dirt bike right here, and if you look on the mini map, I'm facing an NPC. Well, I was, now I turned around. I'm waiting for that guy to turn around so I can quickly look over here to see if there's guard clothing. There is. Now I already found mine. I'm just going to take a picture anyway, because since I'm going through this whole entire island, I might find a better way than the airport. After I get the guard clothing there, I run over and check the secondary target real quick. If there's cocaine, obviously I would take a picture. Now I'm always paying attention to my mini map, and I saw a Jeep coming, so I quickly went to take cover. You still have to pay attention to your mini map. Sometimes Jeeps are on funny routes. Right there I found some more cocaine, so I took the picture. Now we're just run back towards the barn where my dirt bike is, but inside of there is a couple more possibilities for your secondary targets. Here it looks like it's just some weed, and there's also some guard clothing that you could find in here. I think when I was doing this I wasn't sure, or I just took a picture of the weed for video's sake, I think. But right where I'm pointing right now is possible guard clothing, and then I just head back to the dirt bike that I left. Now sometimes I do this really quick and I gotta wait for the NPC on the dirt road towards the ocean to turn around. But this time he had already turned around, so I quickly made for it. I stay on the coastline to avoid the camera there. Sometimes that camera is pointing towards the dirt road, sometimes it's pointing towards the ocean. But either way, if you stay on the coastline, you will be fine. Right there by the barrels would be another possibility of guard clothing. Right here I do a little wheelie. You don't need much speed, and you'll air over the water. And here you want to stay close to the water to avoid the bushes and head straight for this cliff. You don't need much speed, just go up the cliff like I do. This way you're avoiding the security gate. You don't have to be sneaky. And still, no cameras over here, so nothing to worry about. Just pay attention to your mini map as you're riding on this cliff, because you can launch yourself into the water if you're not careful. And always pay attention to the mini map before crossing dirt roads. Then just cut through the cocoa plants, cut over through the ganja plants, and we'll head over to this little shack right here, and there's possibility of cocaine or whatever inside of here. That's another secondary target. It looks like it's cash. See, sometimes it's hard to tell, so just use your phone, zoom in, then you should be able to tell. Once again, I'm looking at the mini-map, because if you look at the mini-map, there's a Jeep driving down the dirt road, so I had to wait for him. Also, there's a communication tower. So now we're just going to go up this hill, and we're going to hack into the cameras. And like I said, there are more secondary targets to check out on this island, so if I didn't find any cocaine or guard clothing at the moment, I would have to keep moving on, which I'm going to do. Right there next to this box is another possibility of guard clothing. Now I don't really care about that one because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get to it, and if you made it that far, do you really need the guard clothing? I'm not going to really dive into the hack too much here because it's just simple math, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat that nothing's been nerfed. So just try this out a few times. If you can't do math, I can't help you. I'm also not going to go through the cameras because nothing has changed when going through the cameras, so we're just going to move right on to the other targets. But in case you were wondering, it was the ruby necklace. So yeah, I just get back on my dirt bike and I go down this little peak of this hill here that's on the right, alongside the dirt road that's also on my right, carefully cutting through these trees because as I make it through these trees, there's some weed plants. I stay towards the left row of the weed plants so that I'm on the other side of this little fence that's on my right, paying attention to the mini map, make sure there's no jeeps and no one walking. I make my way into this barn. Here would be another set of secondary targets. No cocaine, keep moving. Then I get as much speed as possible and try to launch over the water there. There was a possibility of guard clothing behind me, but I hate that guard clothing because of the location, and usually I don't ever go for it, even if it's the only one on the island. But it's there, so it was on the other side of the river before I jumped over. There's also a possibility of guard clothing right where I'm pointing there. I wait for this guard to walk the way he is, and then I run up to this little shack here that's on the right. Look through the fence. You have plenty of time to see if there's cocaine or whatever you're looking for and take a picture. Then I just run back over to my dirt bike, because it's going to allow me to drive up this hill really easily and get behind these buildings where there's going to be another possibility of guard clothing. So just, pay attention to what I'm doing here. I'm looking at the mini-map at the same time now. You can see the buildings on the mini-map. So I head towards the far left building when I was looking at the mini-map. I also pay attention to the dirt road here as well. Right there was some guard clothing. But I wanted to cross the road real quick before that NPC came back. So I'll just go ahead and take a picture from here. Well, I'll zoom in and show you. And if there were guard clothing there, I can take a picture from this location and it will trigger it. But it's right there in front of that box that's in front of that little building. And this silo building right here, also a possibility of some guard clothing as well. I'll go ahead and show you that. I don't know why I'm getting off my dirt bike. There's nothing there. I guess just a point. But yeah, the guard clothing would be right there. And we're almost done. This building that I'm running towards right now, also some secondary targets. Now I want to point out that there is a couple more locations that I could have checked, but they're not solo friendly. And you need 2 people to open the doors to get the secondary targets. So I normally don't even look there, because if I was doing this with friends, most of the time I don't really need to come out here and get secondary targets. You and your buddy can fill up your loot bags inside the compound. And if you're doing it with 4 people, really it's not going to take much secondary targets outside of the compound to fill up your loot bags, and you can do the rest inside of the compound. So from here, I hit down on the D-pad and select a story mode character. That forces a save and it puts me back in story mode. Then when I'm in story mode, I can go into an invite only, a friend session, a crew session, and as long as I have my spawn location set as the Kosaka sub, it puts me right back into the sub and I can launch my setups from there. That way I don't have to travel back to the sub. When getting back to Los Santos, you end up at the Los Santos airport. And that is going to wrap up this video. Basically, as you can see, nothing really affected my route. There was no new cameras on my route, no new guards. All the guards that I came across weren't an issue. You just have to pay attention to the mini-map, and if you follow my route, you shouldn't have any issues at all. I really hope this video helped you out. I hope you enjoyed it, and if it did, please consider to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button on this video. It helps out my videos and the YouTube's algorithm. If you'd like to see me do a heist after the nerf to see if there's been any changes, if it's more difficult, let me know in the comments. But I'm gonna leave it here. My name's Joey Bag of Donuts. You've been watching Javnutee Gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.